The latest atmospheric river pushing rain back into the Bay Area, the first in a month-long dry spell, and the rain is here to stay, and lots of it. Welcome to the 4 on this Friday, everyone. I'm Frank Malik.
And I'm Christina Rendon. The North Bay is slated to bear the brunt of that moisture, and the preparation has already become pretty much routine. KTVU's Tom Vakar joining us live from Santa Rosa now with this part of our story. Tom.
Well, it depends on what happens, but there is a big menu of weather coming up, and that is that it's going to rain all weekend long. Big rain comes Monday and Tuesday, tails off during the week, and that's why there's a flood watch for the entire period. Experienced North Bay folks are used to battening down the hatches as best they can in advance of the deluge expected to be as much as 8 inches in the coastal mountains. The encouraging news is that with this long dry spell, porous soils will be able to suck up much of that water.
I think that most people are relieved to see the rain, especially in California with, the fires and whatnot.
I think it's climate change. I think there's something going on with that. It's definitely, I'm a native Californian, and this seems to be very unusual to have it so intense and accompanied by the winds also.
Given the enormous rains of over a month ago, the folks who wanted sandbags pretty much have gotten them, and it's not a big deal right now. But there are other things that can happen to your home or your business that you do need to consider. While flooding and mudslides are obvious risks, long-term risks during prolonged rains include obvious and hidden leak damage, which brings in toxic molds to the home. Consistently soaked wood degrades, as well as some walling. The other danger, erosion around and under the dwelling. But as we saw at Santa Rosa's Mission Ace hardware store, plenty of stocks of emergency dams, tarps, and flexible plastic to remove water are there, as well as sump pumps to keep areas dry. And there are many effective anti-mold cleaners.
I think we all tend to not do anything until it actually happens to us.
PG&E says crews are being placed in likely outage areas where they will work extended hours once damage comes. The first outages will come from shorted out or burned out transformers.
Whenever you've had a period of time without rain, allowing that dust to build up on the transformers, it causes an outage on that particular transformer, which then will need to be replaced.
But when the ground does become saturated, even moderate winds will become a factor.
It doesn't take as much wind in order to topple over trees into power lines and things like that. That can actually happen at lower wind speeds just because of the saturation of the ground.
This woman is more concerned with non-PG&E outages on the internet.
Just earlier today, I was working from home and I totally lost my internet connection. We're so reliant on that anymore with so many people working from home.
Now, officially, that flood warning and watch is really a watch, is over Sunday at 10 p.m. But given the fact that the big rain is coming Tuesday and Wednesday, that's very likely to change. In Santa Rosa, Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And Tom, quick question. It hasn't rained up there in a bit, all over Northern California for that fact. Are the folks up there excited about this or a little trepidatious because so much has come?
Well, I think I'm more excited than anything else because we've had those few years where, it rains like crazy in December and into a little bit of January, and then the spigot shuts off. They're happy to see that there's more water coming, and with the reservoirs in pretty good shape, that's going to be good for the entire state. But the reality is that if you get too much all at once, then that becomes a real hassle up here more than for most other communities.
So true. Okay, Tom Vakar up in the North Bay for us. Thank you, Tom.
And with that, we'll